Hello everybody, welcome back to ESA. We're doing some Portal 2. I'm gonna start the run ASAP actually because we do have a very long cutscene. So I'll do some more introductions and we'll talk about this run. So we're gonna quickly type some stuff in our cheated console. This isn't a cheated run, by the way, but we're gonna wake up in this container here, and time is gonna start in about 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So this is Portal 2. The category we're playing is inbounds no SLA. This is going to be inbounds no save load abuse. What does that mean? Well, source engine games, as most PC games do, have quick saves and quick loads. This usually results in a lot of very broken glitches. If you saw the last run by Uncrafted Name, he ran Portal 1 no pass through portals, which is quite absurd, and I'm sure if you saw it recently, if you saw the last run, it was pretty absurd. This run is going to be a bit more of the opposite. We're going to play through every chamber in the map. We're not going to go out of bounds. There are going to be some quite nuanced skips that make for a cool, kind of glitchy run, but it's still sort of very much in line. But yeah, the quick start of the game, we have about a 5-minute cutscene, and normally when runners do PB attempts, we actually skip this cutscene. We have a community save where all you do is you run the save and then you add about 5 minutes to your time, but obviously this is a marathon, so we will complete the game from start to finish. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Msushi. I'm currently the world record holder in this category. And if you recognize me from somewhere, I'm also a Celeste speedrunner. I guess to flex my speedrun resume, I'm also the Celeste 100% world record holder. So if you recognize me for some reason but can't quite put your name on it, that's why. But yeah, this is Wheatley right there. If you haven't played Portal 2 before, first of all, I would really recommend it. This game is going to be a lot longer than Portal 1, as you couldn't tell by the estimate already. This game is a lot more story-based. And there's a lot of cool things that go into it that doesn't go into Portal 1. The biggest thing I can talk about is the dialogue in this game. So much so that right now we actually have to wait because of the dialogue. Wheatley is talking to us. All we'll have to do is jump in a couple of seconds when he talks to us more. But the biggest thing I want to talk about throughout this run, which I'll probably bring up again as... You know, I'm just explaining the stuff right now. Of course, you haven't actually seen any gameplay yet since we're just sitting in a cutscene. But, we do something in this game called elevator fades. And essentially, you're gonna notice that a lot of chambers, right when we finish the test chamber and we normally enter the elevator right away, we're going to stand right in front of the elevator and we're gonna wait. And it seems really unintuitive. You'd think we'd be losing time, but the way I like to put Portal 2 as a speedrun is that the goal necessarily isn't to finish the chamber. The goal is to trigger the end dialogue. Every chamber has some sort of end dialogue, and this game's writing, they put a lot of effort into it, so they really want you to hear it. And as a result, the game won't go into the next level until the current dialogue is finished. And the way the level does this is that it checks as you travel through the elevator. It'll go through the elevator, it'll check, hey, is the dialogue over? If the answer is yes, awesome, we'll send you to the next level. If the answer is no, that's fine, we'll check again in a second. To quote a speedrunning metaphor that I think everyone here knows, imagine a bus, and the bus comes every 21 frames. No, I'm kidding, it's not quite 21 frames, but it's about half a second to a second. And if we enter at the right time, we can catch that bus right at the right time. If not, we have to wait for the next bus. So, that's the biggest thing. Movement in this run is going to be bunny hopping. If you've ever seen, first of all, if you didn't see Half-Life earlier on in this marathon, ran by Proto-Os, very good speedrun that also demonstrates bunny hopping. If you've played Counter-Strike, I'm sure you also know what bunny hopping is. Portal 2 bunny hopping is very interesting. We don't have very free movement. This game has something called a soft speed cap. Essentially, once we reach 300 velocity, we're going to, hold up, I need to type something in. So, once we reach 300 velocity, you're gonna find that our player model, we're gonna be stuck in a certain direction. So I'm just going to take some creative liberties here and free some stuff up. I am using an in-game timer in the top left corner that is completely independent from the actual game timer, so, or the real-time timer that we're using, so It's more just for bragging rights, but
Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun.
yeah. So as I was saying, this game has a soft speed cap. Once you reach 300 velocity, which is about 1.5 times walking speed, your walking speed is 175 hammer units. For the record, anytime I mention like units, this game has its own system of units. They're hammer units, own level editor. It's really cool. But when we hit 300 velocity, the game doesn't let us change directions. We're stuck in whatever direction we were traveling in, and we have to keep it that way. So you're gonna see a lot of times, especially when we're traveling around corners, we're gonna slow down our movement. Even though that seems unintuitive, we actually have to, or else we'd hit the wall. So here we're finished with the cutscenes, so we're going to go into our first chamber. And this one's a pretty tough one, so I'm going to need to focus pretty hard. So I'm going to have to put this cube on this button. Okay, perfect, awesome. It's not every day that you get that first try, so I'm really happy. It's a great start to the run. And the announcer has some dialogue, and you'll notice that even though we're in that elevator for a pretty long time, the game will not finish until we hear that dialogue. So here's a very interesting chamber. We're gonna put a cube on a button this one, except this time we have portals. So it's quite nuanced. Here we go. And we'll hit the button over here that'll activate this portal. These first couple of chambers are pretty simplistic. And you'll notice here I'm going to stand right in front of the elevator. This is because I'm waiting for a certain line that'll cue me to enter the elevator. So I'm going to go in the announcer says test. Please take a moment to write down the results of your test. As a side effect of having these dialogue cues, I kind of have 80% of this game's dialogue memorized. I don't know if that's nerdily impressive or sad, but it's its own thing. Anyways, I mean, not all of them, only the ones we hear in the speedrun. But okay, so now we're going to acquire the portal gun, which takes on a beautiful purple shade. This is a really good example of how triggering the end dialogue is important here. Right now we're going to wait at the edge of this office, and we do a dialogue cue. I actually didn't get that there, so we're going to load a save. We're going to try to interrupt the announcer. I am struggling quite a bit as I'm talking over myself. So you're going to see there, the announcer tried to start his dialogue and got interrupted by Wheatley. This is important because the announcer has the last dialogue line in this level. So if we can get him to skip a dialogue line, we can trigger the end dialogue faster, which will, in turn, get us to the next level faster. It seems intuitive that going slower goes faster, but it's really about dialogue manipulation, is the best way to put it. In this chamber, we're going to shoot a portal under this cube dropper, and the cube will open us through this door just for a second. And we're going to do a really cool glitch where we shove that cube into the door. The portal's hitbox, even though the portal is an oval shape, it's more like a rectangle. And when we put that portal in a specific spot, the game thinks it's going through the corner of that rectangle, so it actually thinks it's going through a portal, so it can travel through it just fine. But fun fact, Valve, that is not a portal, that is a door. The game thinks we're soft locked, so it'll open up the door for us. It's kind of a cheat way to get through the chamber. Here, we're just going to do something called a portal stand. Basically, we stand on the space created by a portal. It's kind of cheeky, and it's a little bit hard to do, but I'm quite used to them. And again, waiting from the elevator just for a bit, as I want to go in at the right time.
Time for a quick donation?
We have a really long cutscene in like 3 minutes, so that would actually be a better time.
I will hold on.
Yeah, this game has a couple of major cutscenes in it, which make for nice bathroom breaks, which is nice. It is only an hour long, but here we're gonna do a cool glitch called a button glitch, and I actually got it first try. We jump on the corner of the button, and we only activate the button for 1 frame or 1 tick. And as a result, the game gets really confused. Are you on the button? Are you off the button? I'm not sure. So it just lets it open for you. Which ship's getting a cube, which is pretty nice. Coming up here in this next chamber is one of the more interesting glitches. Normally this would be a longer cutscene, but we actually found a way to skip it. Route credit to Kurziehow here. We're going to line up a coordinate-precise shot. So if you can see on my screen in the top left corner, there are some numbers. I'm going to pay attention to them right now because I'm trying to line them up very specifically in a way that I can shoot through a door over here, which will skip a cutscene. Very nicely done. It is just a very precise trick, so it's kind of awkward because the way that trick works, we originally thought it would be like an incredible find if we found a way to skip the test chamber, which we thought we'd have to do some super nuanced, you know, some tech, some new stuff. And Kurzyhow actually found that there's literally just a hole in the door. A super, super small hole that you can shoot a portal through. And to put the icing on the cake, Wheatley just teleports into our hands. Normally we'd pick him off of his rail, and he'd follow with us, but who knows? When you have the portal gun, reality just bends to your will. And when you're a speedrunner too, but... Alright, so we're going to be coming up here on the control booth here, and we're actually going to have about a 2-minute cutscene while GLaDOS wakes up, so while Wheatley yabbers and we're going to wake up the boss of Portal 1, it would be a great time to read some donations.
Alright, great stuff. We have Davo12345, who started off the first of what I hope will be a long $5 train, who writes, "Yo, Sushi, good luck on your run. Always a good day to be an Msushi100 fan. Hopefully we can see Msushi59 today again." Thank you very much for that. And yeah, we are raising money for Save the Children. Every single $1, $5, $10, whatever you want to spare, whatever you can spare, is going to a fantastic cause. So if you are enjoying this, if you want to help some kiddies, especially during the coronavirus pandemic, then please do dig deep and dig generously.
Power up initiated.
Okay, don't panic. All right, stop panicking.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daver. Again, it's a great cause, and it truly is an honor that... Speedrunning is a very unique hobby because it's quite a weird thing that's sort of becoming mainstream, and it's... I can't speak for the entire community, but it is incredible that we're able to have this impact, so... Thank you everyone who's donated or even watching it. It means a lot.
Wait, did I do beat the Gerald 10? Start writing these down.
Power up complete.
I would note that while we're having one of these cutscenes, normally on my own streams, I actually practice juggling. Throughout the past week, I've tried to learn how to juggle, which is something I have very minimal experience with before. But, you know, you put in a lot of resets and you have these long cutscenes, and I'm pretty sure some of my viewers find it entertaining, so...
Does explain the juggling comments in the chat.
Yeah.
It's like half of that.
Oh, really?
Half big purple boxes, and half people describing how often it is a good day to be an Msushi fan, which is apparently always.
It's always a good day to be an Msushi fan.
Starts to love. Portal 2, Celeste 100%.
I will say though, since you went to
You know, it's it truly is a life. I guess if we really want to go to flexing, I have a corner, or in the corner of my room, I have a trophy for speedrunning. But that's a whole different story, so we're not going to talk about that for right now, because we are going to get right back into the action. When we got the portal gun before, it was just one portal. One portal, kind of lame. You can only do so much, because the game has to place your other portals. We're going to the incinerator here, where we're going to find our dual portal gun that we used last game. But we're also going to do a really interesting dialogue skip here. You're going to see us kind of crouch around a corner here, and that's going to skip an invisible trigger that lets us go faster.
Question, if we can raise $16,000 by the end of the run, do we get to see the trophy and hear a bit of lore?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, cool. Let's make it happen. We are $355 away from that.
Get it done, guys.
I'll just move that out of the way for you.
Alright, so normally, this speech that GLaDOS has in this chamber is very, kind of sassy, I guess, in a way to put it. You just woke up the super boss, and GLaDOS is like, well, you just killed me, so I don't know what I'm gonna do to you.
After that, who knows?
She has this very underlining tone, you know, very villain-like, is a good way to put it. But we skip a part of it by picking up the portal gun at the right time. And now we're gonna go back into some test chambers with the dual portal gun. This chamber, we're gonna do a very simple fling. This chamber is actually copied from Portal 1, if you noticed it back in the No Pass Through Portals run, because Uncrafted actually does that chamber normally, but we're able to do a cute fling because that wall is portalable. And yeah, these chambers are going to be very fast. The early chambers, I wouldn't say we could cheese them easily, but we make them look a lot easier than the average casual playthrough. This one's just, we can skip the whole laser puzzle by using the portable surfaces here.
You are a horrible person.
That's what it says. A horrible person. Again, if you didn't hear it before, I go in the elevator at the right time to catch the 21 frame bus. That's the best way to describe it, so.
Don't let that
This chamber, we're going to introduce a very interesting glitch called the laser switch glitch. There are two laser receivers, but we're going to satisfy them using only one laser. And this is because if we go against the door and we trigger it, for one frame, the game will see both of them as active. It'll think both of them are satisfied, so if we push against the door, the game will just let us through because it doesn't want to crush the player. So if it even detects that the player is barely pushing against the door, it doesn't want to crush the door on the player.
One moment.
Coming up in this chamber, Laser Over Goo, this is a funny chamber because GLaDOS talks about how slow you're going, and we're a speedrunner and we're not going slow. We're also going to do a trick called Wet Maker, which is a really precise reportal glitch, and it's called Wet Maker because if you fail it, you get wet. But yeah, to describe reportals, if you shoot a portal while you're going through a portal, the game will give you a speed boost because it doesn't want you to get weird angles with your portals. The game doesn't want you to stand in between portal surfaces, so it'll just try to push you out, but we can actually abuse that push and get some speed out of it. This chamber is called Catapult Intro as we get introduced to the aerial faith plates, but it's my favorite chamber to describe how Portal 2 is not about completing the chamber, it's about triggering the end dialogue there. We're going to put a camera on that button there. A camera does not activate a button, but the camera does activate the end of the level dialogue. The game doesn't care whether a cube, a camera, a radio is on that button. If any physics object is on that button, the game will trigger the end dialogue, and it's actually significantly faster. If we didn't put a camera on that button, we'd probably lose about 10 seconds, so it's an interesting quirk.
Let's see what the next test is. Oh, advanced aerial faith plates. Well, have fun soaring through the
This chamber isn't too complicated. We're going to be using the laser switch glitch again, but without any lasers.
15 acres of broken glass.
Normally in this chamber, GLaDOS will call you trash, but she will also say how this dropper is broken and it will emit some trash instead of a cube. Which is unfortunate, but one of those, or two of the pieces of trash actually are spheres, or edgeless safety cubes as they're called in co-op, and those can actually trigger the button just fine. So if we just push ourselves against the door, the sphere will hit the button just for a bit, and we'll be able to get through.
Before, when I was talking about smelly garbage standing around being useless, that was a metaphor.
And this next chamber, we're going to do a very confusing glitch called a super reportal. Essentially, we're going to get stuck by shooting a very precise portal at a very precise angle. And once we're stuck, we're going to shoot a ton of portals. And what that's going to do is, it's going to give us that push effect that I talked about earlier, but it's going to give it to us kind of on drugs, essentially, because we're going to get it a lot, and we're going to get a lot of height as a result of it. So this is what it's going to look like.
I'm sorry, I don't know why that went off. Anyway, just an interesting science fact.
Oh, we end up getting up here, not all the way, which is fine, because I can do this backup reportal. Oh, or I can't. Couldn't quite get the strategy, but that's fine. We got enough way up the platform. It is really cool when it's done right, because it's kind of just a WTF moment where you just kind of go flying into the air.
Out of the test area. This one is broken.
And normally this is the chamber where you get the companion cube, and ironically we saved the companion cube by not using it at all. So is it, you know, are we saving it by not using it, or are we punishing it by never gracing it with our presence? Who knows? I'm not a philosopher, so. This chamber is very simple. We're just going to shoot under the decaying chamber here. Oh, GLaDOS is still trying to repair the chamber, so some of them are still kind of coming into place as we go into them. So those panels are quite easy to shoot under. This next chamber, we're going to be doing a dialogue skip, which is very confusing, and it's really hard to explain unless I fail it. But it saves about 30 seconds, and we're just going to try to crouch at the right times. I got 0 of them. There are, basically the way this works is that when you come into this chamber, GLaDOS basically calls the main player fat by saying the aerial faith plate doesn't work. I'm reloading it because I'm failing it because I need to get a certain dialogue line. This should hopefully work. No. Wow, this is definitely one of the harder tricks in the run, but I'm making it look a little bit too hard.
Well, I'm back.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, essentially there's a trigger on the ceiling that keeps track of how many times you've gone to the ceiling. I'm just going to take this dialogue at this point because I'm struggling a bit too much. But you can see GLaDOS basically calls us fat, which is very nice. Very nice, GLaDOS. Very healthy. Yep. But we're going to go on this faith plate. There's a trigger on the ceiling that counts how many times you've gone up. And once you've done it 3 times, the game will lower the ceiling so you can actually get to the test chamber. But if we uncrouch and crouch certain ways, we can actually hit the trigger 3 times with only 1 jump on the aerial faith plate, so. Here we're just going to do some really cool movement where we're going to kind of make our own fling because going back to the aerial faith plate is slow. So we're going to use a reportal and going through that portal there to easily get up to the platform and utilize the lasers. These next chambers, in my opinion, are some of the coolest, especially Ricochet. This chamber is so cool for speedruns that Valve actually has an achievement in the game. The achievement Overclocker is completed, or is achieved by completing this chamber in under 70 seconds, I believe. Well, keep count, because it's going to be significantly less than 70, because we're going to do a strat called a panel fling. We're going to orient this cube at just the right timing, that this panel will come down at just the right timing, and we can bounce off the cube there. I didn't get the full cool strat, but it still looks pretty darn impressive.
I did see some humans, but with you here, I've got more test subjects than I'll ever need.
Yeah, normally if you got that timing right, you could bounce and fling off of the panel while it's collapsing, but couldn't quite get that, but it's basically just as fast. This chamber, we're introduced to hard light bridges. They're basically floors that go through portals. And similar to what we did in Chapter 1, where we shoved a cube through a door, we're going to do the same thing, but instead of a door this time, it's going to be glass. Just like that, and it'll trigger the end door for us, and we see Chubby Turret. There he goes.
Speaking of which, I was researching sharks for an upcoming test. Do you know who else murders people who are only trying to help them? Did you guess sharks?
Because that's wrong. Okay, this next chamber is called Bridge the Gap, and normally there's a 50-second cutscene at the start, but you're not even going to notice that we're skipping the cutscene because we're just going to bunny hop through. Normally there's a glitchy door that kind of freaks out, and GLaDOS is like, huh, let me fix that for you while it's closed. But due to its glitching nature, we can actually bunny hop right through it while it starts to glitch out. And that skips a small interaction with Wheatley. It's about 50 seconds, so. Oh, and not even to mention that incredible fling we do across the test chamber, which looks really cool.
Oh, there's lots of room here. Did well. Enough.
Alright, in this next chamber, we're going to be introduced to turrets, everyone's least favorite part about Portal.
This next test involves turrets.
But, see if you can count how many portals I place in a very small amount of time, okay? Try to keep count. I'm gonna shoot this, shoot a portal here because walking is slow. I'll grab this cube, put it on the button. There are 3 turrets in this room, but I'm just too fast. They can't even aim at me, so it's quite simple. That's how you guys did in your casual playthrough, right?
Yeah, that looks very easy.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was just me.
I mean, is there another way to do it? I couldn't find another solution.
I don't know, actually. This chamber, we're just really simplifying this level because we know how to shoot these portals, that we can angle this laser cube perfectly, and that's actually just the test chamber. When I first did my playthrough, I needed to use my TI-84 to calculate some trigonometry, but unfortunately I have trigonometry memorized now as a result of being a Portal speedrunner. I mean, guys, I speedrun a puzzle game. I have to be smart, right? I think that's how it works, at least.
That jumpsuit you're wearing looks stupid.
Definitely how it works.
That's not me talking.
Cool strategy here. Normally when turrets shoot you, they'll knock you back, and that's so you don't take them down. But what if we abuse that knockback and we had it push us through a portal? We can use that to take us right to the end here, and we can take out its brothers and sisters as a result. Quite gruesome, but they only have simulated pain, so it's okay.
With your last name. A man and a woman. So that's interesting. It's a small world.
They're just pretending it's a simulation.
Yeah. I mean, isn't everything a simulation?
A surprise waiting for you after this next.
Is it you a simulation?
Okay, alright. Anyways, continuing with the speedrun, we're gonna be burning these turrets. just when we were talking about, turret, gruesome pain, we're gonna burn them alive. Which, it's a necessary evil for the test chamber, so I'm sorry. And GLaDOS will, excitingly after seeing the turret's demise, will sing, "Oh, he's a jolly good fellow." Cool. Thank you, GLaDOS. She didn't even want to talk to us that chamber, so I think she's done with our shenanigans.
It says this next test was designed by one of Aperture's Nobel Prize.
This chamber is called Pull the Rug, because we're going to pull the floor out of a cube. But first we have to place the floor, have it block the laser while it's placed above that button, and a simple bunny hop to the end will do as well.
I think I forgot about your surprise. I didn't. In fact, we're headed to your surprise right now.
After
Time for a quick
all
donation?
these years. Yeah, super
I'm
quick.
getting choked up.
Yeah, so AtMayMB has donated $10. Right, I know Msushi100 from Big Brains Times Attack and Minor Ultra Adventures. It's cool to see you start a new game. Good luck.
Thank you, AtMayMB, for donating to such a generous cause. This is Chapter 4. This is a surprise. What is the surprise? More testing. And some confetti.
I was very surprised with that.
I know, I know.
Oh, come on.
If you haven't played this game before, GLaDOS alludes to the fact that she's going to show you your parents, but I think every human within like a 10-mile radius of Aperture Laboratories is dead. But we're gonna solve this chamber super quickly by lining up some lasers and taking care of this turret. And now we're gonna do a super cool skip called Jerry Skip. It involves a very precise lineup as we're gonna be clipping through the floor of this elevator. Normally there's about a 40-second cutscene at the end of this level where we talk to Wheatley, and Wheatley's gonna be like, "We're gonna get out of here, man. We're gonna get out in first try." That's incredible. That's a very hard trick. Yeah, you can see Wheatley tries to get our attention, but we're just too fast. We're clipping through the elevator. And you might think, why don't we do that on all elevators? Sorry. And it's actually because that elevator is special in that it has a cutscene, so it travels very slowly. Most cutscenes are not like that, so it's really only beneficial in that test chamber. We do some cool things here to line up these laser relays, and normally we'd have to get a third laser cube, but by utilizing air strafing, we can get right over this door with ease.
I thought about our dilemma, and I came up with a solution.
Several people in the chat type in Dane Skip.
Yeah, there's like a in-community meme about what it's called. I call it Jerry Skip, some people call it Dane Skip. It's like potato, you know? We're gonna utilize that laser switch glitch again. By absolutely spazzing our mouse, we can trigger all three of those lasers at the same time, which is a really cool quirk if you ask me, but...
just have to look at things objectively. See what you don't need.
Yeah, just kind of wiggling your mouse left and right pretty fast, it does it, as long as you push against the door. And coming up here, this is where the story gets interesting. Wheatley is going to talk in an American accent, and he's going to tell us that we should leave the test chamber. So we're going to follow him. We're going to do a small little skip here to kind of break this and get behind Wheatley. Hi, Wheatley. And we'll do a bunny hop over this gap. And now we are... I guess, like, lore-wise, we're out of bounds, but we're very much in bounds when it comes to speedrun rules. We are going behind the scenes. We're going to jump over that stair railing there. And we're going to jump over here onto this railing. So now we are escaping from the facility. We're trying to run away from GLaDOS and meet up with Wheatley, where we will further plan how to sabotage and take GLaDOS out of power. Because she very clearly is not part of the Shell fan club. Gonna bunny hop on some railings here. This is GLaDOS' attempt to kind of do whatever it takes to stop us, putting some turrets in our path. But Shell is an Olympian. She's not just any ordinary test subject, so turrets really aren't a problem. Quick warning, things are gonna get bright in like 3, 2, 1. Okay. The next chamber is usually very dark, and normally the darkness is a part of the level because we're behind the scenes, so we don't have GLaDOS to help us. Usually Wheatley turns on a flashlight for us to follow, but we are actually too fast that Wheatley will not be able to catch up with us. So for the viewer's sake, we're gonna turn on some console commands here that'll let us see And we're gonna get on this railing here and kind of skip Wheatley here. There's normally a cutscene which shows like all the lights turning off, but it takes about 20 seconds, and if we bunny hop over it, that takes, well, 0 seconds, so faster. And you can hear Wheatley here, but Wheatley is nowhere to be seen. Don't be fooled by the fact that his voice sounds so close. He is much, much further behind. We're gonna get on top of this railing here. We basically are Wheatley riding on the railings. And we'll bunny hop creatively into the abyss. Unfortunately could not get on top of that railing. It happens, it happens. Okay, that also happens. This is why quick saves are a blessing. We'll take our time here.
Wheatley makes that rail grind look so easy.
I know, I know.
It's like he's doing a Sonic game or something.
I mean, the Sonic boss just did finish up, so I'm sure he watched all the VODs.
Yeah, that's how he got it.
Me making it back to normal brightness here as we go into the next chamber. So now we're through to the turret factory, and we're at the turret assembly line here. And I guess lore-wise, we're trying to disable GLaDOS' turrets so she can't kill us when we confront her again, because similar to my mom when I steal from the cookie jar, GLaDOS is really mad at us right now. So we're not very pumped to see her again at her current state, because she has access to all the deadly things in Aperture laboratories. So we're gonna fix that. And the ironic thing about the speedrun though is that we actually don't fix that. Normally you have to grab a defective turret here and replace it as the like mimic for the assembly line, for the, what's the word? Not the decoy, but for the prop that's being scanned. But we can actually skip that altogether by doing a pancake shot, which is shooting through these doors. So we're gonna do some coordinate precise lineups. Oh, that wasn't quite the best. And if everything works correctly, we should shoot clean through this door.
If we pull out the template turret, it will shut down the whole production line.
That's if everything goes right, which we're struggling with right now. Let's try replacing this. Again, this is like basically incredibly precise. Okay. You know what they say, third tries the charm. We'll do this over again. And trust me, it'll be cool.
Don't worry, I trust you.
Alright. And since RoboSparkle trusted me with third try, with the power of friendship, we'll get through that door.
That's what this game is all about, really. Is the power of friendship.
Really.
Fair enough, the important thing is it's open, but bring your daughter.
It's gotta look beyond the, you know, constant backstabbing and murder.
Yeah.
40 potato batteries.
I mean, friendship always prevails.
I mean, I realize they're children, but still, you know, low-hanging fruit and all that.
We're just gonna do some slick movement here,
Don't worry, I'm
and we'll make our way out of the turret factory, and we'll go over to the neurotoxin generator.
Take care of that neurotoxin generator as well.
This chamber is actually on a big cycle. It's one of the only like cycles in Portal 2 because this chamber has moving platforms that you can shoot portals on, sorry. And for like your game theorists out there who are interested in like proving how the physics behind our portals work, this chamber like just screws with all of that because it is like so impossible for portals to be placed on moving surfaces. But they look cool, so Valve did it. We're gonna shoot a portal through that door, because that door, while it is solid to the player, it is not solid to the portal gun. And yeah, these portal surfaces are on a cycle, so.
For a quick donation?
Yeah, this is actually a great time.
Fantastic. So, Bailey has donated $15. Thanks very much, Bailey. Who writes, "Hello, Home Alone NES World Record holder Msushi. During the run, especially double dialogue skip, providing an entertaining run as always." Thank you, Bailey, for that very generous donation.
Thank you so much, Bailey. Really going to a great cause. And yeah, for about the next like 5 minutes, this is the transition between what we call like the early game to the mid or late game. And I guess, spoiler warning, we're going to replace Wheatley as the head core of Aperture instead of GLaDOS. And Wheatley naturally goes mad with power. So that's kind of what's going to happen for the next 5 minutes. And we're watching a lot of cutscenes. There's one big skip that I will mention when we get up to it, but for the most parts, if we have any donations, like, feel free to interrupt me.
Hold on, because I might not have thought.
Other than that, I'll try to be entertaining.
I'm going the wrong way.
It's been going well on the entertainment front so far.
Alright. So obviously we're separated from Wheatley. Oh no, where'd he go? Oh well, we'll just have to confront GLaDOS. And naturally, the first thing we're going to do is not go to GLaDOS, but we're going to go to the emergency cake and escape pod room. Okay, can we actually reset the run? That's not supposed... This is a really weird bug. Okay. I've actually never seen this part before. This is like where the run is supposed to end. Oh crap. Okay. Okay. I am not good at acting, but obviously this is part of the game. Haha, funny meme. GLaDOS shutdown room and cake room. Okay, sure.
I hope you brought something stronger than a portal.
Here's GLaDOS. And naturally, since GLaDOS cannot throw hands, she does not have any hands to throw. She's gonna try to kill us with turrets. But since we very definitely took down the turret line, obviously. I mean, you guys saw it, right? I saw it. You saw it? So...
Yeah, we all saw it.
Yeah, we all saw it. No turrets.
It all looks perfectly normal.
So, she's gonna go for part 2, which is neurotoxin. So...
But I have a better idea. It's your
big old tube. You can also, like, see the tube. I think we can also see a special guest. There he is. Coming down.
I hate you so much.
Poisonous gas, a core, basically the same thing.
That's funny. I don't feel corrupt. In fact, I feel pretty good.
Alternate core detected.
Oh, that's me they're talking about.
Alright, so according to the facility, GLaDOS is corrupt, and we're going to replace the core with a new core. And naturally, both parties need to consent, because consent is very important. Wheatley says yes, GLaDOS obviously says no. Thankfully, Aperture's laboratories were very smart, and they included a stalemate button, which a human can press. So Shell is going to be that human. And normally GLaDOS tries to manipulate some panels, so we can't press it. But we're going to do a cute little jump right over the panels. And now we're going to be waiting through a cutscene. And GLaDOS is going to scream.
Oh, it will. Believe
in auto-tune.
Are you just saying that, or is it really gonna hurt? You're just saying that, aren't you? You're just... No, you're not. It is gonna hurt, isn't it? Exactly how painful are we
Get your hands off me.
I would say children look away.
No.
Yeah, I'm not responsible for any of this. The game even knows it. It shields our eyes. I don't know how Shell old is in the lore, but clearly not old enough to see robot transfer. And now it's bright and happy because our best friend Wheatley is in charge of the facility. And normally, sorry?
So everything is good now, right?
Yeah, naturally. Normally we'd go into the escape elevator here he gives for us, but we're gonna go on top of it. And this might not look like it, but this is a massive skip. Normally, Wheatley is gonna talk to us about how, wait, I did all the work here, not you, Shell, you stupid idiot. So clearly, like, I'm the one who deserves all the credit, not you. Why are you escaping? And GLaDOS backtops Wheatley a bit too, so Wheatley gets mad, and eventually punches the elevator into the pit. But if we're on top of the elevator, we can just go in the pit ourselves. And you can hear Wheatley's evil, ominous laugh as we fade out, which is cute. And you'd think we left GLaDOS there, rotting in that test chamber, but, Potato. I can't explain this one, but she is a potato. This is a 1 minute long section where we have no inputs. It's not even an auto-scroll, it's a cutscene. We're falling down to the old Aperture section. This is the facility when it was ran by Cave Johnson. And in my opinion, it's one of my favorite parts of the game. Unfortunately for speedruns, it's also one of the hardest parts of the game. But I think everyone kind of really likes the aesthetic of old Aperture. So.
for a very quick donation?
Go for it.
Fantastic. So yeah, on the subject of age confusion, Tenai is very impressed by your youthful good looks, and has donated $5 to say, "I always love watching my favorite 12-year-old speedrun Portal 2. Luck came Sushi."
Thank you. I'm actually 12 and a half, by the way, so you should make sure you check your facts there. But yeah, and I might, if I go overestimate, this might be a problem because bedtime's coming up really soon. So
That's fine. That's a good note.
might have to go a bit faster. Anyways, we're gonna crash, and we're gonna be landing in an old Aperture. This first map is called Underground. We're kind of just exploring the desolate wasteland that is old Aperture. I'm gonna turn on my brightness command so you guys can see a bit better. And there's GLaDOS. She's gonna be taken away by that bird. And if you've never put two and two together, in the co-op campaign, one of the quote-unquote final bosses is essentially a bird, and that is why GLaDOS is terrified of birds, because one essentially captured her when she was a potato. Anyways, we're gonna be doing some movement here. These are all just pretty fast portal shots that we're navigating through this level. Normally you do a lot more walking and a lot less portal shooting. One really cool example here is that we get onto this debris in the corner and we shoot a portal into the next section of the level, which is really cool. And we're just going to hit these two buttons that normally need 2 people to hit, but since we have portals, we basically are 5 people at the same time. And now we just wait for a bit as this vault opens. We'll turn the brightness down. And yeah, starting from here on out, the chambers are going to get really high octane, I guess is the way to put them. We're going to be using a lot more cool, interesting glitches. And we're also going to be introduced to the gels, which are a really cool topic for this puzzle game. They added gels. What's interesting is the blue gels make you bounce off of them. We'll get into them later. And the red gels give you speed. You go fast. Ironically, we don't use the red gel at all in this speedrun. Not even once. I think we see it once or twice, but we never actually use it. Anyways, this chamber is called Cave Johnson, as we get introduced to Cave Johnson, except we don't, because we skip that by doing a really cool cliff shot here, by getting at the end of this railing, jumping out, shooting the portal, jumping back in. Very nicely done. And now we're going to do what's called a scripted momentum abuse. Basically, if we go off of this railing at the right angle, the game thinks we should have speed for the fling, so it just gives it to us. We're going to pair this with a reportal to jump off of the pipe at the top. I actually failed there. This is an incredibly hard trick. In my opinion, one of the harder chambers in the run, so naturally I'm going to be reloading this a lot as I try to get it. Not quite. You know what they say. We just gotta believe in the power of friendship. You know, I'm obviously delaying this run a bit more, so you guys have time to get your donations in, obviously.
That's the true recall. Give more children.
We gotta save the children. I am struggling this a lot more than I usually do, though. But it does look really cool when you get it, so I'm gonna stick with it.
We're all about looking cool.
Exactly. Okay, I'm a bit bored of this loading screen. I don't know about you guys, so I'm gonna stop reloading. 1, 2... There we go. Now we have a lot of speed. We'll jump perfectly off this pipe onto the end railing. That normally saves time. Because I was too busy finalizing my donation for the marathon, that actually lost time, so that's unfortunate. You know, it's a good cause though. Here, the lights are going to come on as we see that old Aperture is really out of commission here. And we're going to a chamber called Repulsion Intro. We're going to attempt a button glitch. We probably won't get it, but this chamber has a lot of cool momentum quirks as well as a cool glitch called a cube clip. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to solve this chamber by bouncing on this blue gel. And then we're going to put this cube on this button, as cubes are meant to be placed. Now we're going to circumvent this fizzler by barely shooting a portal above it, and now we're going to grab a cube. We're going to put these portals here, and if we crouch through this cube at the right time, it actually clips us through the ground, which saves a small amount of time. Now normally we'd get a cube in this test chamber, but we're going to use a small kind of momentum quirk to get up on this level by abusing some speed and some blue gel. And those walls are painted in blue, and that's only because Cave Johnson thought it looked cooler that way. I personally would have preferred purple, but you really don't need to use that gel. And with that cube, we can activate that portal surface and get to the end.
Here's some advice the lab boys gave me. Do not get covered in the repulsion gel. We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet. But
so now we have the lovely dialogue of Cave Johnson.
And it does not
And,
like the human skeleton.
he's a really cool guy. There's one dialogue that people really like from him. Oh, I forget which one it is. I actually don't remember. Maybe we'll hear it later.
a donation that might shed some light on this.
Okay, sure, go for it.
Galb has donated $10 and says, "Hello, world record speedrunner Mushi100. Great run so far. Can't wait to hear the Cave Johnson rant on lemons later."
Oh,
Yes.
wait, which one is that? Kind of foreshadowing, but we do a really cool skip to skip that. But,
I started spamming lemons.
I won't spoil this for right now, but the next chamber actually is going to be the hardest chamber in the game, in my opinion. This is called Crazy Box. We're going to do a glitch called a stuck launch, where we're going to get stuck between basically a pillar and a gel pipe. And as a result, the game thinks we should be stuck, so it doesn't move us too much, but the game also thinks we should be falling, so it gives us acceleration due to gravity. If we combine this with bouncing off of glue gel and the curvature of the level, we can basically skip the entire thing. So hopefully this goes smoothly. I've lost a lot of world record pace runs to this level, so... And I am kind of struggling right now, but this is, in my opinion, the hardest chamber in the game. Oh, that gel is not good. We'll try this once more. We basically need to shoot a gel blob and then have it funnel back into the portal. Like this. And now we'll do a fling up to the top of the level. Except sometimes you just don't believe in the power of friendship, so it serves you right for failing.
Okay, sometimes the power of friendship believes in you. Exactly.
Ooh. I'm hitting my head on the ceiling. This is a very precise strategy, so it is kind of natural. Fail it. We'll get on this too perfectly, and now we'll bounce off of this gel. Get stuck. The game thinks we should be falling, so it gives us speed, and we'll land perfectly on this pipe, jump over this entire test chamber, and just land in the elevator. Which, that chamber looks really cool. You should note that the entire level is kind of encapsulated in a sphere, so as a result, when we bounce off the ceiling, it gives us some trajectory. Really, really cool. And that was first try, by the way, clearly. I mean, I didn't lose any time there, right?
I didn't see any time loss.
No, me neither. I'm the world record holder, so you know. I know time loss when I see it.
Yeah. Basically on world record pace at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm actually ahead by about 10 minutes.
Nice.
So I think that deserves a $10 donation, if you ask me.
I've got a $10 donation.
Do you?
Yeah, from Lone Pie. Right, I have important info. The gnarly 4 skip has been found, but you must have a red portal gun to do it.
Oh dear. That's unfortunate.
It's a shame there's no red happening in this run.
We're going to do a skip here. Normally you have to rescue Potato GLaDOS, but naturally we're just going to complete the test chamber, and then if I use my mind abilities powerful enough, we can actually conjure GLaDOS onto our portal gun. Okay, I think that should be good. There she is, okay. Work this run. That's really important. I had to learn a lot of Zen meditation techniques to perfect that, but it's really important for the speedrun. That chamber we do a long shot to the end, and we basically are able to do that combined with the reportal to skip this entire test chamber, so
Hey, listen up down there. That thing's called an
it's quite clean.
not a bathroom.
This next chamber, normally you do a fling using the speed gel, but ironically the speed gel is slow. So we use the bouncy gel, and basically we're going to do a precise lineup so that we can fit multiple jumps on the bouncy gel while we go on a slope. And what happens when you do multiple jumps? Well, you're going to get a lot of speed, and it's going to look a little something like this, if I can show it off. Boing. Nope. We'll try that once more time. You can go all the way to the end door. Oh. Oh. That is unfortunate. Again, third tries the charm. Believe in the power of friendship and magic and portals. And fling right to the end.
There's still some positions available for that bonus opportunity I mentioned earlier. Again, all you gotta do is let us
Chip is good at flinging.
We're not banging rocks over here.
Okay.
We know how to put 'em
This next chamber has one of the coolest skips in the game. So much so that I'm a Twitch streamer and I decided to make a YouTube video about this skip because I thought it was really cool to explain. You don't have to watch it, but if you're interested, talk to me after the run. Probably after the whole day, once you finish watching Simple Flip's SM64 crowd control run, because that's going to be really cool tonight. But
I love it. Yeah, it's gonna be worth staying up past my bedtime for. Sure.
Exactly. Basically, we're gonna do that super reportal glitch, but we're gonna get stuck in a really weird way. In addition to getting stuck, we have to do a very precise setup to disable a scripted momentum catapult. And that doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically we're doing a ton of super precise stuff, and we're gonna do a really big launch. It'll look cool, trust me. We're gonna do a precise lineup, shoot this portal, do a very precise lineup, make a quick save. We're gonna get stuck beautifully. We're gonna shoot a ton of portals, get a ton of speed, and we're going to miss the trick. Once more, again. We need to get stuck in this portal, so I'm gonna reload a lot until I get stuck. This should be good. And we'll ramp off a slope right on to this catwalk. And that skips the "when life gives you lemons" speech, which kind of sad. I think people really like that dialogue, but
I think someone tries to quote it in chat, but it got caught by either a moderator or a bot, unfortunately.
oh.
It's a bit of a angry speech.
Well, we're going to continue on into 3 gels. This is the last chamber of Old Aperture where GLaDOS is going to psych us up as we're going to go ahead and take on Wheatley. We're going to utilize that stuck launch glitch again to basically break this test chamber in half. Or maybe in quarters. Or how many people are in chat? A couple thousand? You can break it in a couple thousands. Everyone gets a part of the test chamber. Yeah.
It's just under 2,600 people watching. It's a
yeah,
all in chat.
So we're going to try to get stuck and then bounce off of blue gel. Trick's kind of hard the way I do it, but oh, I'm struggling a bit actually.
Well, if that $16,000 trophy reveal plus lore is still on the cards, they've got some news because we're $50 closer. Just how has donated, Kojo. Thanks very much, Kojo. Right, Robo Sparkle, my favourite speedrunner from 2018. Msushi, my favourite speedrunner from now. Remember, when life gives you lemons, just skip them. Thank you so much, Kojo.
Alright, in this chamber, we'd normally have to take an elevator where GLaDOS would talk us up, and it's kind of like the really cool situation where, you know, you kind of become friends with the old villain, and it's really cool if you play the game. We are not going to play the game, so we're going to skip it by getting stuck between these 2 pipes, bouncing off of the blue gel, and narrowly avoiding these as we'll clear an invisible wall and get to the end. Yeah, it's kind of sad that we missed that moment. It's a very bonding moment where GLaDOS kind of hypes you up and it's like, listen, we might not be friends, but we have a common enemy, so we got to take him down. And now we're going to go into Chapter 8. Welcome to Wheatley Laboratories. The normal Aperture Laboratories logo has been smeared with Wheatley. He now owns the test chambers, and you're going to see his first invention, which is the Franken turret, or the Franken cube. They look like that.
How can you not do the one warmer?
And we're going to do a cutscene skip here by throwing a cube. If we throw a cube onto a button and get against the door, normally after enabling the button, Wheatley will close the door and then realize that, oh, they didn't solve the test chamber on their own. Shell is back. And we'll give a cool like villainy like monologue. Not really villainy, but more quirky. But we'll just skip it. Just like that.
I have to test all the time, or I get this itch.
And while Wheatley is our enemy, and he said very bad things about us before, he talks about this itch that he has. As the main AI heading Aperture Science, he's programmed to have this itch where he needs to test. And if he doesn't test, he feels incredibly uncomfortable. So for right now, even though you'd think he'd want to kill Shell, but he's gonna keep her around to do some testing. And you're gonna see he's so desperate because he doesn't know how to make tests that he's gonna have us do the same test twice.
Is so difficult. Why don't you just keep solving this test? Going on, and I can just like watch you solve it. Yeah.
And just hitting the button right onto the. It's not a very complicated test chamber. I've seen community chambers that are significantly better, but.
Tests. Got to be some tests around here somewhere.
Alright, so my paradox idea didn't work. And it almost
Now in this next chamber, we're gonna get into one of the coolest glitches in the game. This is called the Excursion Funnel Crouch Fly glitch, and I will do the trick first. It's not very noticeable in this chamber, but it will be noticeable in the next, as we're basically going to fly. If you guys believe we can fly, then we can. You can see right now we're falling a little bit slowly, which is a little suspicious, but I can guarantee you that we are in a zero gravity state right now. Essentially, the game... yeah. The game tracks how many funnels you're in with a variable, and basically the way it works is if that variable is 1 or greater, if you're in 1 or more funnels, the player should have 0 gravity, and if it's 0, give them normal gravity. For some reason, when you crouch in a funnel with certain conditions, the game will increment that funnel variable again. Even though you didn't enter a new funnel, the game thinks you have. And as a result, that counter will obviously increase to 2, and then when we leave the funnel, it goes down by 1. So that value is still 1, the game thinks we're in a funnel, so we should be flying. And the common meme for this is that, oh my god, why are you cheating? Why did you just turn on no clip? But I can guarantee you it's not actually that hard of a glitch. If you go into Portal 2 right now on Steam and crouch in an excursion funnel, you can fly. And we very much abuse that right here. Hope no one here has a fear of heights. Yeah, basically we can preserve this crouch fly state between levels. The only way we can lose it now is by entering another funnel, which we're going to do not in this chamber, but in the next chamber. Throw that cube onto the button.
Oh, disappointed.
And this next chamber is made laughably easy by the fact that we have 0 gravity. All we're going to do is literally jump to the end. And if you think I'm joking, just watch. We're going to jump, hit the ceiling, we're going to grab this funnel, and we're going to place it below us, and here's the ending. So yeah, obviously, it's really weird that Valve didn't, you know, like, try their levels at all with 0 gravity. Just kind of weird. You think they'd try that just once, you know? What if the player had 0 gravity? How broken would the chamber be? Thankfully for us, they didn't. Here's another cool glitch. I'm going to do a great shot. That was a great shot. Very accurate. But we also shot a portal onto a grate, which is why we call it great shot. Basically, the very corner of the grate is portalable. And even though it looks really weird when we place it there, the game kind of just shoves it in the right spot, so it kind of works. But yeah, you need a very peculiar angle, and you need to have a very precise position on the platform to do that correctly. But you can just shoot that grate, and it's quite easy for this test chamber. This next chamber is called Stop the Box, and we're going to stop this box from hitting this fizzler here by grabbing it out of midair. Or we're just going to, you know, I'm just going to show you guys how the test chamber looks when you do it incorrectly, because I know a lot of people don't know. That's what it looks like when it's done correctly, just for comparison. We'll place down the button. Normally there are turrets here, but again, we are speedy.
Are you absolutely sure you're solving these correctly? I mean, yes, you solved it, but I'm wondering if maybe there's a number of ways to solve them, and you're picking all the worst ways.
A quick donation?
Go for it.
Shramo has donated $10. Thank you so much. Right, Sushi wasn't willing to give you lemons, so here is some money so you can buy some yourself. Thanks very much. Save the Children will definitely be able to buy a lot of lemons with that. For more healthy, lots of vitamins. Incoming, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're actually so close to 16k. We are
let's do it, guys.
$145 away.
Let's do it.
Anyway, just give me a wave, would you, before you solve
We're gonna get that crouch fly glitch again, and we're gonna abuse that into the next chamber. Bad decisions, because I think he's decided not to maintain any of the crucial. Okay, sometimes I have to make sure I focus on the dialogue so I go in at the right time, but this is the part of the game where it really starts to get suspicious and starts caring about us a little less. And this is because Wheatley has found the co-op bots that you play as in the co-op campaign, and he's planning on using those to test to satisfy his itch instead of Shell. And that would mean that he has no use for shell.
Two more tremors in there.
And if you can kind of see, the whole facility is kind of decaying. So is my skill at this game, but we will grab this cube, I believe. Okay. Fourth tries the charm. Grab it out of there, throw it, put us back over there, and we're going to place it at a very clever angle to satisfy this laser receiver. And if we shoot this portal correctly, we should be able to open this door. There we go. And taking this funnel is pretty slow, so we're going to strafe around it. Normally, Wheatley baits you into falling into there, but we will fall down over here, thank you very much, because it is faster. And right in there. This chamber is called Propulsion Catch. And you can see Wheatley's sarcasm. Wow, you're alive! Great! For you, obviously! Right. Wheatley's given up on us at this point and is starting to try to kill us, so... And that will be apparent because the last chapter of the game is called The Part Where He Kills You. There's the robot right there. Clearly in the wrong spot.
I'll be honest, after you told me to turn that beam
But that test chamber is made really easy by the crouch fly glitch. And we only have about 5 maps left, so this run is coming to a close. Give or take 10
I did
minutes.
find something though, reminds me. I've got a
Probably a little
big
less.
surprise for you two. Seriously, look forward to it.
Definitely a little less, now that I think about it, but because I'd be going over estimates. That was the case, but... So we're just going to take a bit, but it will take us to the next level, which, this crouch fly we get is going to be the most important crouch fly in the game. This is the last level of Chapter 8. We're going to preserve a zero gravity state into Chapter 9. This is incredibly important. We skip a lot of cutscenes with this, and a lot of testing elements as well. So we're just going to get on this funnel super quick, and downright abusing the zero gravity to just fly to the end door here.
Oh, that's tiring.
So, he's inexplicably happy all of a sudden, even though he should be going out of his mind with test withdrawal. And he's got a surprise for us.
And normally this part of the game, I will say this, I really like this game's dialogue and writing. We skip some of the best parts of it right here in Chapter 9, because normally Wheatley tries to kill you. And there's one of my favorite parts where he coaxes you, he tries to persuade you to jumping into a pit by saying, your parents are down there, there's a hunky boy band down in the pit, and there's also the 3 portal device. And, you know, the boys don't care about how heavy you are, because it's also alluded in the game that Shell is not doing great in that regard, but we do unfortunately skip all of that by just flying. So you're gonna see here, we will, fly around. But yeah, that dialogue is very amusing. If you haven't heard it before, I would just Google search, like, Portal 2 Pit Boss, I believe is the achievement you get for listening to
Or
it.
yeah, or just play it. I mean, be honest. Like, how many people just
It would be like 2
knew
minutes.
exactly what was gonna happen and just had to jump down
Yeah.
anyway? That's what happened.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, I've decided I'm not.
But we're gonna angle off of his monitor there and use our fly quite cleverly.
Oh, I've got an idea.
And there's that crusher,
Your face.
which we avoid. And now we're going into what we call the finale maps, because these are the finales of the game. And you can hear the very epic music that accompanies
Almost there.
the speedrun. And here we're gonna go around. We're kind of actually gonna go through this, because while it's still moving, it's not solid at some portions, which works out for us. And normally we'd have to go through a side area here with a crusher section, but by angling ourselves off of these stairs, we can actually lower ourselves onto this catwalk over here. And I know what you're thinking. You know, we had a handful of turrets and they couldn't stop us. What if there were, let's say, 20 turrets? There are about, give or take, like 10 turrets here, and we can still just fly through them. I don't know why they think adding more turrets helps at all. We're really just too quick, but yeah. We're gonna do some clever portals here, and we're gonna skip a bomb section where we throw bombs at some conversion gel by just flying up into a portal. We're basically gonna interrupt GLaDOS here. Then we'll never find out what she wants to do after that, so now we're gonna go through this wall, because this wall is actually not solid. Normally if you travel through this without the crouch fly with normal means, that wall actually disappears. So that's why we can just go through it. And now we're going to prepare ourselves for the last map of the game. This map is about 3.5 minutes long, and it is a boss fight with Wheatley. And I do want to give big props to Valve here, because this is, for a puzzle game, this is a pretty cool boss fight. But it is going to start with about a 1-minute cutscene where Wheatley explains his 4-part plan on how he's going to kill us. So, for the record, GLaDOS' plan, our plan, is that GLaDOS is going to send us cores that we will attach to Wheatley, so he becomes corrupt and the system will want to replace him.
building is going to self-destruct in about 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's a problem with the light. I think the light's on the blink, but just in case it isn't, I am actually...
So I guess I do want to say now, while this cutscene is happening, thank you guys so much for having me on, and some brief shoutouts. Shouts to Can't Even, who is another top runner of this game, also a very active streamer. Kurzihao, who's an incredible router for this game. And also shoutouts to BillPlay3, who did commentary for the last run, and also helped me out with modifying some textures in this game. He's also a really talented, kind of unspoken hero of the Portal community. But yeah, I guess also to sell myself out, I stream Portal very frequently, so if you're interested in this run at all, feel free to follow. And that goes for any runners in this marathon. And also, if you're not following ESA in the first place, what are you doing? I mean, seriously? Some of the best speedrunning content on the platform, and you're not following? I mean, that's a you problem, that's not a me problem, but... So we're doing something really creative here called bomb juggling. Wheatley will spew out 3 bombs, and as we all know, for any boss fight, 3 is the magic number. You want to hit them 3 times. And what we're going to do is we're going to use 1 bomb to hit him here. And we're going to save 2 of the bombs by putting them in a perpetual loop. We're kind of juggling them. The strategy is called bomb juggling. So you can see these bombs are stuck. So now when Wheatley comes back awake, we won't have to wait for him to shoot bombs. We can just use these bombs. Just like that. And we'll save this last one too. Grab this core. Attach it, and we just have 1 more hit left and 1 more core.
Reactor explosion timer destroyed. Reactor explosion uncertainty emergency preemption protocol initiated. This facility will self-destruct in 2 minutes.
Hopefully this bomb will be nice and hit Wheatley in the back. It did not. Oh, I've been struggling with that lately, but it's okay. This one should do it. And we're going to do a really cool fling here to circumvent using the red gel, which we have not used at all in the speedrun, just to remind you, and attach the last core. And I will put on my in-game time here. Unfortunately, somewhere between where I was 10 minutes ahead of world record, I ended up losing about 15 minutes. So this is going to be give or take 4 minutes by my PB, but still, it's a lot of fun to do. There's 1 big trick left, which if you're not familiar with the ending of Portal 2, we have to shoot the moon, which opens up right about here. There's actually about 0.1 seconds where we can shoot the moon from the stalemate room. And it looks really cool, but also really buggy if you get it. But yeah, time will come up when I shoot the moon, which will probably be in about 10 seconds. Let's go for it.
Stalemate resolution associate. Please press the stalemate resolution button.
And time. That is Portal 2. Inbalance, no save load abuse, which is our main leaderboard category. And as Wheatley kind of deteriorates here, as a kind of side effect of that early moonshot, we actually get control of our portal gun again, and we can see the lovely moon. I paid a lot of money to get that projected on the moon, so I hope you guys take that message to heart. It's kind of like really expensive blimp advertising, but yeah. I suppose I already did the majority of my shoutouts, but again, thank you guys so much for just watching ESA. I don't know if we hit that fake donation goal, but if we have time, I will gladly flex my trophy.
We didn't hit it, but we're $125 away. We do have a $20 donation from Wolf saying, hopefully this can help, which it did. It's definitely going to a fantastic cause, even if we don't hit the 60,000 right away. I will leave it up to you.
What was that real time? Can I ask? I just want to make sure we're not going incredibly
Real
over
time,
here.
107.58.
You're all right.
All right, I have 2 minutes. We'll talk about some lore here. I'm gonna take off my headphones so I can't hear you, Robo Sparkle, as I get my trophy.
And all along, you were my best friend.
But
The surge of emotion.
those who don't know, in addition to being really good at Portal 2, I'm also really good at Portal, and I had the incredible opportunity to travel to France and compete on stage for a cash prize event to speedrun Portal. You can the camera is reversed, but I guarantee you it does say Portal 1, and yeah, it was an incredible experience, and it was a lot of fun, and it's something I will never live down while I still speedrun. This game means a lot to me, and speedrunning means a lot to me. I've got to talk to a lot of really cool people, and I'm really thankful events like these happen. That's about it.
And then you showed
All right, fantastic.
You
And the beauty is, now that we've had the trophy and the speedrun lore, you guys have to get us to 16k.
I mean, yeah, you owe me. It's like an IOU.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll expect some IOU donations very, very soon. So coming up next, I will be signing off as host and handing over to the very capable, very beautiful, very essentially voiced Paulister. He'll be taking over on front, and he will be doing donation reading for our next game, Shadow of the Colossus, the remake, the remaster from being run by FoxyZilla. Fantastic game, fantastic speed run, so definitely do stick around. Following on from that, we've got the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which does have a donation incentive to choose which music we play. And our third crowd control of the marathon, Super Mario 64. Shout outs to Simple Flips. We're running 70-star, but crowd control. So
Definitely watch that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, definitely want to stay up for that no matter what, because basically what will happen is if you donate during the crowd control run and you make sure that your Twitch username is included in the box that asks for it, every donation gives you coins, and coins can be spent on anything to alter the game. I'm pretty sure with SM64 the options are you can give him stars, you can take away stars, you can unlock. I think you can unlock doors or lock doors. You can kill Mario for sure. You can give him lives. You can take away lives. You can basically screw with Simple Flips or help him to your heart's content. And his objective will be to beat it before tomorrow morning's run of Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops starts. I think so far our crowd controls have just about been successful, but never within estimates. So we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, that's what you got to look forward to. Absolutely fantastic runs and a lot of opportunity for fun. But yeah, any last messages or shout outs you want to give, Sushi?
Oh, thank you to everyone. Robo Sparkle, you've been doing a great job today. So I know you're not going underappreciated, but yeah, definitely stay tuned for that tonight, guys, and for tomorrow as we finish up the marathon.
Stuff. All right. Well, thanks again for the run, and thank you to your fan base. It's definitely been a good day to be an Msushi fan. And yeah, we will see you guys after intermission. Safe.